Well, hey, thank you for joining us once again. If you are looking for great Christian books for your family, you're in the right spot tonight. We are a family of 7 who loves to read, and we want to share with you our favorite 25 books. We're going to dig deeper into our top 10, but then we'll actually go over the top 25 for you for probably 5 to 12-year-olds. You'll notice that my typical co-host is not with me. Kendra did have our baby, Sage Elliott. He was born here at home just a couple days ago, and he's healthy, mom's healthy, but hopefully you can understand she needs a little bit of time to rest and to heal up. So I would like to introduce you to my co-hosts for this conversation, my kids, my 3 oldest. So we got Paisley, who's 11 years old, Calliope, who's 9 years old, and Lincoln, who's 7 years old. And like I said, they're going to be kind of doing a little book review for you. I asked them to pick out each of their top 3 books, and then I'm going to talk about one as well. So we'll round that out to a nice number of 10, and then like I said, we'll get into the other 15 after that. So we didn't want to leave you hanging completely. We made a commitment to release new conversations every 2 weeks, and so hopefully this will be helpful for you if you're looking for books. You know, last conversation that Kendra and I had, we talked about just the drastic need for families to get their kids off of screens. Like, screens are destroying the future of our next generation, literally the future of our country. And we made a bunch of suggestions in that conversation. If you didn't watch it, go back and check it out. But our number one suggestion to get kids off of screens is to nurture a love for reading. We've done that in this house and in this family. These kids love to read. And, you know, reading comes with so many benefits. I mean, there's obvious ones like it's going to help them build a larger vocabulary, but there's also things that maybe you don't know about. It actually helps them to be better problem solvers. It helps them to better empathize with other people. It helps them actually sleep better. It's a stress reliever. And obviously it stimulates imagination. All incredible benefits from reading that you're definitely not going to get if you're just sitting in front of a screen. And we've absolutely seen the fruit from reading here in this family. And so I'm excited to have these co-hosts with me. Hopefully you are as well. So stick around and see what they have to say here. But so first off, Paisley, how many books would you say that you read on average in a week?
Like 5, maybe?
5 books in a week. Yeah, I would say that is probably true. So what is that? 5 times 52 weeks in a year. That's about 250 books in a year. That's crazy. And I would say that she is not overestimating at all. Calliope, what about you? You think you read about the same?
I wouldn't be sure, but I don't really know because sometimes I get bored of reading quick.
And you don't finish the book.
But
and then
sometimes
you
I
move on.
really like, because today I read 3 books and almost finished my 4th one.
Today we read 3 books. Right?
I sometimes like to read on the couch and just like be warm.
So
but
there's an ebb and a
like,
flow in it. What do you say? Maybe 3 books a
3
week
to 5
would
books.
be 3 to 5 books a week. Okay, so you're right in that same range. Lincoln, you don't read quite as much as your sisters. What do you think? How many books do you think you read in a week?
1.
1 book a week. Still pretty good. That means that over the course of a year, you're reading 52 books. That's a lot of books. That's more books than I am able to read. So it's incredible that you have the time to read the books. And we're not talking about like little kids' picture books. I mean, we're talking about decent size chapter books for kids. So to read anywhere from 3 to 5 books, absolutely incredible. And, you know, so I guess I say all of that and kind of set it up that way to say they got some experience. We got some experts on the matter here, reading, you know, several hundred books in their lives. But so, Calliope, let's start with you. This is your stack, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you tell us about the 3 books that you picked, your top 3. Okay. So just give us a quick summary of each of them, and then I'll probably ask you some more questions in depth about. about what you think. So, and these aren't like in a particular order, right? It's not like this is my first favorite book. You just kind of picked, hey, these are probably the 3 that I like the best.
Yeah.
But in no particular order. Okay, go ahead. What's the first one there?
Tumtum and Nutmeg.
Tumtum and Nutmeg. So what's Tumtum and Nutmeg all about?
So there are these mice that like help these poor children that live in Rose Cottage, and there's a girl and a boy mouse. Tum was named because he's like a good eater, and then Nutmeg, Tum gave that name to Nutmeg because she had nutmeg fur, and he thought that was really cool because all of his family had been gray mice. So it's about a pair of mice that help children and like go on adventures.
Go on adventures. Awesome. Let me see it. So this is a pretty thick book. There's 500 pages in this book. So a lot of adventures they have in this book.
No, 3.
3 adventures they have. 3 adventures takes up
Yeah.
500 pages.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Which one's your favorite adventure?
I can't remember.
What do they do?
We have 2 big books that both have about 500 pages. I can't remember which stories are in which because it's like pretty decent, like big, long stories. But I would have to say that
We
my
have
favorite...
another Tumtum and Nutmeg?
Yep.
That's 500 pages?
Yeah, there are like these... So there are these 2. We have all the stories because
Okay.
like there are 2 big books. They're like the chapter books of all the adventures, and then there are like littler books, like kind of like this,
Okay.
for each adventure.
All right. Well, so out of however many those adventures are, maybe not necessarily in that one that you picked out, but of all of the Tumtum and Nutmeg adventures, which one was your favorite, do you think?
I would probably have to say that it was the one where General March Mouse scares Aunt Ivy.
Scares Aunt Ivy. Because you like scaring people? You like to watch people be scared?
It was just really hilarious because General March Mouse literally fell asleep while, like, he's the general.
Uh-huh.
He fell asleep while he was waiting.
Sleeping on the job. Can't be doing that.
So, and everybody was like, is he ever gonna, like, what's he doing? Because they didn't know he was asleep. So I
Yeah.
thought that was really funny. So that would probably have to be my favorite.
Awesome. What's the next one you got there?
Happy Little Family.
Happy Little Family. What's Happy Little Family all about?
It's about a book. They have 5 children, just like
Sounds
us.
familiar, yeah.
Only 4 of them are girls and 1 is a boy. So,
A little different.
yeah. Well, it's about a happy family that they all take care of each other. They're happy. They live together in a little, like, cabin. And, like, they get along really well. They go to school together. And I just really liked it because I like reading about happy families that live together. And I
So
like
is it
reading about
just-
their lives.
Is it just kind of about their everyday life?
Yeah.
Yeah? Cool. Who's your favorite character in it? Of the 5 kids?
I really like Bonnie, the littlest, but I also like Emmy, the second oldest. Well, third oldest.
What do you like about them?
Emmy's nice to Bonnie. She's, like, really kind and giving. But Bonnie is, like, curious and adventurous, and she likes learning about new things. So I like them both, but I would probably have to say my favorite is Bonnie.
Nice. So whenever you read Happy Little Family, about this happy little family that are being nice to each other, do you ever kind of feel like convicted about maybe the way that you treat your siblings sometimes? Like, well, maybe I should be more like the characters in this book?
Sometimes.
But... And not that you're not. I'm not saying that. The point that I was making, it's super important that we as parents know what our kids are reading because, and we said this in the last conversation, everything that they read is a seed. It's a spiritual seed. So if they're reading about characters who are constantly fighting and bickering and all of these different things, there's all spiritual seeds, and there's going to have a lot more likelihood that they are then going to see nothing wrong with fighting and bickering and being mean. Whereas if they're reading characters and getting to know characters in a book and really enjoying the stories that they're reading about families who are nice to each other, they're probably going to be more likely to be nice to one another, right? Would you agree with that? Yeah. Have you ever, kind of question for all of you, have you ever read something that put you in a certain type of a mood, like just from reading a book? You became sad, or you became angry, or maybe you became like anxious a little bit? Have you ever read a book and had it give you feelings?
Yes. Yeah.
That you then took beyond the book, like after you put the book down, you continued to be anxious or scared or angry or even happy, maybe? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so would you say that books kind of have a certain level of power over your emotions? Yeah, that's because they're spiritual seeds. All right, but go ahead. What's your last one there, Calliope?
This is my favorite book, and it's called The Green Ember. It's a really good book. It's kind of about fighting, but like it's about like good and evil. Like these bunnies are trying to help protect their like family. They're two like younger. They're the two younger siblings. That they're 3 kids, and then they're the 2 oldest that get separated from the rest of their family, their baby and their mom and dad. But they're fighting to try to get them back, and they get reunited in the end book. So I think it's a really good book because they're like fighting the wolves that are trying to kill them and make them slaves. So
that's a book series too, right?
Yeah.
How many of them are there? Do you know?
I think 4.
4. And is the Happy Little Family also a series?
Yeah, I think we have 4 of those. Yeah.
4 of those too?
We have 4 of those. I can't remember if there's a 5th one or not.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. And so that's awesome too. It's not just this one book that they pick out, but most of these are actually series. So if you pick one up and you like it, there's 2 or 3 or 4 more of them. So you two, I think you've read at least some of those. I know we did Tumtum and Nutmeg as a family read aloud, so we all read that. Do you have anything to add about any of those 3 that Calliope picked out that you liked or that you disliked, or anything to say about it at all? Mm-mm. No? Paisley? She nailed it. She got everything. Okay, fair enough. Who wants to go next, Paisley or Lincoln? Paisley's going to do it. Okay. So what did you pick out for us, Paisley?
So my first book is called The Lighthouse Family. The book that I have is called The Lighthouse Family, The Storm. There's several other books in this series.
Okay.
We have, I think, 3 of them. In it, there's a cat who lives in a lighthouse. And is pretty much lonely all the time. And then there's a dog who sails the sea, and his sea is basically his home and his boat. And then during a very bad storm, the cat finds the dog actually on the shore because his boat was wrecked and he got hurt. So she took him into her lighthouse and started taking care of him. And then as he is recovering, that he's finally well enough to actually walk around the shore. But then while they're taking a walk out in the yard, they see something in the water, and they find out that it's actually 3 little orphaned mice. So they become kind of like a little family that live in a lighthouse, and the cat's no longer lonely, and they're just like, they find something that means more to them than the sea for the dog and like saving people's lives, although that was still important to the cat. They found like family.
So, interesting question for you. Well, maybe it's interesting. I think it's an interesting question. What do you think Jesus' favorite book or favorite part about the book would be?
How the cat, well, there are probably 2 favorite parts.
Okay.
how the first one would probably be how the cat gave up her entire life to save other people's lives with the lighthouse, because there weren't many lighthouse keepers then, because a lighthouse saved her and her dad's life one day. So then she decided that she would take up that job to save others.
Self-sacrifice sounds a little bit like Jesus himself, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Then the other one, the dog gives up his life at sea that he really loved to help the cat raise the little mice, and they took them in instead of sending them back out. They got into the water and saved them out of their little crate that they were floating on, and the little brother mouse and the sister mouse were taking care of their baby, and they ran away actually because they didn't want their baby brother, I'm pretty sure, to be sent away to an orphanage. So they just ran away and took it upon themselves to make sure he didn't get sent away. So those are probably my two parts that I think Jesus would like.
Awesome. And we will link all of these books down below in the description. So if we kind of rush through the title or don't mention the author on them, you can go down there and check those out if any of these sound interesting to you. What do you got next, Paisley?
My next one is called In Grandma's Attic. There's, I'm pretty sure, 4 books in the series. It's about a little girl who goes to her grandma's house to stay, and her grandma has a bunch of stories to tell her. There are several about, like, how if you're prideful, usually something bad will come and happen to you because you're just, like, full of it, and you're, like, trying to get people to notice you, and maybe they notice you in a bad way, as happens in one of these stories. But then, in the very last book, in the 4th book, the very last chapter in the 4th book, the last book, has fortune telling in it. They make it seem kind of fun. So, but other than that, it's a pretty good book. There's lots and lots of stories. They're all pretty much good, and like they include scripture and stuff, but all except like the grandma's very, very scriptural. She really seems to like try to get the littler girl to try to get to know her more, or him more. Whenever she's feeling sad or like scared or something, she usually comes up and like prays for her and stuff.
Awesome. That's a great example. So what do you call it when you come across those things like the fortune telling and you notice that it's not quite right? What would you say that you do with those parts of the book?
Spit it out.
Spit it out. Yeah, so if you joined us for the last conversation, we described how we do this thing with our kids, whether it's watching movies or even reading books, that we call it chew and spit, right? And so the chewing is just noticing what you're reading. So many times, especially when we're dealing with movies, but even in books, we just take everything in and we don't necessarily think about if it's good or if it's bad. So the chewing is, hey, be diligent and be intentional to think about what the author or the movie producer is actually trying to convince you of. The spit would be if they're trying to convince you that good is bad or bad is good, we spit that out. We don't accept those lies. We don't accept it to have any type of grip over our emotions or over our life, or to cause us to be intrigued by fortune telling or whatever those things are. And a lot of times they'll run across different things where they'll come to me or their mom and say, hey, I don't know about, like, what is this? And that can open up some really great conversations. So you got one more there, Paisley. What's your last one?
My very last one, and probably my favorite of these 3, is called Kingdom's Dawn. There's, I'm pretty sure, 6 in the series. It's kind of like Narnia, only like it's like there's not like a chief of the bad like Satan, like the evil witch was in Narnia. So there's this boy, he's only 16 years old, and he's the child of a farmer. His dad is raising him by himself, so he doesn't have a whole bunch of motherness in his life, so that kind of makes him a little bit harder and not as comforting and he's fighting the evil that comes against him. There is a good king in this that I'm pretty sure is kind of like representing Jesus or like God. He appears and introduces himself as someone from a foreign land. He comes whenever a Leonad, who is a 16-year-old boy, needs him most, whenever he's like dying or in need or trapped somewhere. He always comes either with like food or like a knife to cut the ropes that hold him in bondage.
Okay.
But that's pretty much what Kingdom's Dawn is about.
Awesome. So, do either of you two have any other comments to make on any of these three that Paisley picked out? Kingdom Dawn, Grandma's Attic, The Lighthouse Family? No. Did you read them all?
I only read The Storm.
I've read
The Lighthouse Family.
I've read The Storm, The Lighthouse Family, and Grandma's Attic. I have not read Kingdom's Dawn yet, though.
Oh, okay.
So,
Do you have anything to add about the two that you did read? Anything else you can remember? I know it's been a while since for some of these.
in Grandma's Attic, there is like kind of like the boys don't really like aren't very nice to their sister, the grandma. She tells stories of her childhood, and in
Okay.
them the boys are not very nice to her. They tease her a lot and like make fun of her. So
And was she saying it like because it did hurt her feelings, and she was kind of saying that it hurt her feelings, or how was she presenting those stories?
she just got mad at them and started doing mean things back. So
Ever had that happen?
Dad,
Sometimes.
sometimes
Paisley.
Paisley.
What? You have.
Lincoln, I can tell you're excited. You got your pile picked up over there. So tell us about your picks. What we got first?
Maple Ridge, Logan Price makes a mess.
So what's this one all about?
That Logan Price and his dad, they're about to sell a farm, and Logan Price tries to make money so they don't have to sell it. But while they're loading boxes in a store to raise money, Logan Price mixes one up, and then his dad has to go back and put it back, and they end up not having to sell the farm.
How old's Logan Price?
8.
8. How old are you?
7.
Oh. Is that one of the reasons why you liked it? Because you could kind of identify with Logan since he's about your age?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. What part, I'll ask you the same question I asked Paisley earlier. What part do you think that Jesus would like best about that book?
That Logan tries to help everyone and raise money so that his dad doesn't have to give up his job.
Yeah, and everything worked out in the end. Huh? Is that the only one, or are there more Logan Price books
There are more.
or Maple Ridge books?
There
There's
are
more of them?
probably about 8.
8? How many do you have?
Probably 7.
Probably 7. So Lincoln, what's up next?
The Wingfeather Saga. On the edge of the dark sea of darkness. So this is Janner and his little brother and sister Tink and Lily are trying to help their mom and dad escape from fangs. Fangs are like monsters that try and get them, but Janner and Tink, Lily, and the mom and grandfather always escape, and they end up being a happy family, and at the end they realize that they have a uncle.
That they have an uncle. That's how the book ends? They're like, surprise, you got an uncle. Are there more books after that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Does the uncle show up in the other stories?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like a cliffhanger. They're like, where'd this uncle come from? I want to read more about him. Does he end up being a pretty major character in the next ones?
Yes.
Yeah. So, what do you like best about the Wingfeather Saga? Either that book or any of the other ones. What's your
about God?
that they talk about God directly? Cool. And that's a pretty long book too. Is that your favorite one of the Wingfeather Saga that you picked out and brought down?
No.
No. Which one's your favorite?
Well, I've only read 2, so the second one.
The second one's your favorite? All right. And last one, what do you have there for your third
Secret of
pick?
The Hidden Scrolls.
And that's a series too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So
there's
tell us
10
about,
books.
say it again.
I think there's 10 books.
Okay, wow. There's a lot of those. So tell us about the secret of the hidden scrolls. What's the secret?
There's a 9-year-old boy and isn't it 8 years old?
I think it's 8 and then Mary's 10.
An 8-year-old boy and a 9-year-old girl and their dog Hank. They go on adventures to find secret scrolls. So then they can go on more adventures in the Bible times. This one is about Noah's Ark, and Satan always traps them, but every time they use God's scripture to get it hacked.
Cool. So isn't there a TV show where they kind of travel back to Bible times?
Superbook.
Superbook. Is it kind of like Superbook?
Yeah, because
Only
there's
instead
a
of Hank, there's a robot.
Gizmo.
Okay, cool. What is on the hidden scrolls that they find? You said they go searching for hidden
Doesn't
scrolls.
tell you.
It doesn't tell you.
have
You
to-
look like you.
You have to figure
you-
it out.
Oh, you have to figure it out.
Yeah,
like as
they're
the
like
reader.
words like Hebrew, and then Mary and Hank and the other one have to try to figure out the words, and the bag that has the scroll in it, which Peter is usually carrying, will shake when they say the right word, and then it will transform into a glowing word.
So that's kind of what the story is about, them figuring out what's on the hidden scroll.
And
Yeah.
if they don't figure it
Gotcha.
out in a week,
Or-
then they have to stay there forever.
They have the limited time that Michael the angel gives them.
Oh, so they always figure it out.
Yeah.
And get going. Okay. Anything else you two have to share about any of Lincoln's 3 books that he picked? Go ahead.
There's in Logan Price. There's this one. It's called The Ghost, and so you probably shouldn't read that book. We didn't feel comfortable having that in our house, even though it probably wasn't a ghost. We still just skipped that book. That's why we only have one less than the series actually has.
Gotcha. Yeah, and so, I mean, we do let it up, especially now that they're a little bit older. We let it up to their comfortability level. I mean, we've obviously talked about spiritual things and how ghosts are not real. You know, when we talk about hauntings and different things like people being tormented, we know that those are demons, not ghosts. And so, you know, some of those books can just open up good conversations. I wouldn't have a problem if you read the Logan Price about ghosts and then we talked about things. But it's also kind of like if you look at it and you read the back cover or the synopsis about the book and you're like, nah, I don't really care, not for me, then that's cool too. But books, obviously, as they read through them, parents know what your kids are reading, have conversations about it with them. But so the other thing that we like to do, so those, we got through 9 so far. Each of them picked 3. I wanted to do one just to make it even, but then also another thing that we like to do, I kind of mentioned earlier, we like to do family read-alouds. I know we did Tumtum and Nutmeg. Mom read that to you, and I sat in most nights and listened. I got about 90% of the story. I didn't get all of it. And then most recently, we just did a read-aloud where I read Robin Hood to you. But whenever I talked to Kendra and I said, which family read aloud do you think that would be really good to share with people? I mean, I think most people know about Robin Hood, and we were already covering Tumtum and Nutmeg. And so there's this other series called the Vanderbeekers that she said that the kids really, really liked. And I did not read this one to them. She did. And is there a couple of these too? Is this also a series?
Yeah, there's
There's
6.
No,
More
there's 9.
7.
Okay.
There's more like 9.
Well, so I did not read this one to you, and I have not read this one myself, so why don't you tell us about the Vanderbeekers. What do you like about the Vanderbeekers?
I like how they're a family that gets along. Sometimes there's one brother and like 4 girls. So another family of 5 with 1 boy and 4 girls. But I like how they get along. Sometimes the boy's a little grumpy because he has so many sisters, and sometimes like he's not like the best influence. So there's that, but they get along really well most of the time, and they like do things like they help out their parents, like they do the dishes, sometimes they make meals. The oldest is like 14, and then the youngest is Lainey, and she's like 4 in the first book.
The boy has a closet as his room.
What?
Yeah.
He lives in the closet?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
And he has his bed, and then he has a little desk underneath it, and then he has a loft bed, and then all of his walls have bookshelves on them, and they're all filled with books, so he's also a book lover.
That's pretty neat.
But
Would you like to have a closet for your room if it had walls full of books?
Yeah.
You trade the room that you had now?
Yeah.
Yes, I would have to.
Yeah, go ahead.
They do some stuff, though, behind their parents' backs, and they don't know it until it's, like, done. They think it will be great to surprise them, but they go on and keep it, like, a secret, and they're like, we're not going anywhere. We're just going to the playground, where they're not actually going to the playground. They're going to the secret place that they're trying to make a garden or something. So they do lie somewhat.
So in a lot of these books, let me ask you this. In a lot of these books, you talked about how all of these families are happy and they all get along. And, you know, real life isn't always like that, right? Not every family, not any family, I would say, is happy all the time and gets along
Not
all the time and follows all the rules. So in these books, do you get more of a realistic situations sometimes where they do fight with each other or where they do have conflict, and then like do you see characters kind of figure out how to work through hard things together, or is everything just more perfect all the time?
It's
The Green
like
Ember?
The boy sometimes fights, and like the Vanderbeekers, the boy sometimes fight with siblings, but he usually ends up like apologizing and then being like, sorry
Great.
guys.
Yeah, which are really good lessons, because that's what we should do whenever we get things not quite so
In the
right.
green,
But in the last book, Lainey, the youngest, ends up having cancer. We haven't read that book yet.
Yeah.
Because we didn't want to really spoil how happy it was.
Gotcha. Yeah, and me and Mom had read the summary for that, and it was kind of like, we understood why the author went there, because again, real life situations come up, but we just chose to like deal with that if we ever have to. There was really no point. I mean, the entire book was kind of about suffering through really, really hard things, and that just wasn't something that we felt like any of us here really wanted to suffer through. These characters that you all had kind of grown to love. Again, I get it, and there probably is a lesson there for people who are working through some tough things, but we also know, once again, that these stories can be spiritual seeds that then cause different thoughts and things, and so we were kind of like, nah, maybe at some point in the future, but that one's not for us right now. Lincoln, what were you going to say, buddy?
It's basically the same for the Wingfeather. Janet doesn't always get along with his brother Tink, but in the end he ends up saying sorry.
Great, yeah. So it's great to see real life situations and how they resolve those conflicts. Do they apologize? How do they get back to a better place? Do you sometimes learn from those things? Like, oh, in my real life, this is how I could handle this maybe bad situation or difficult situation. Yeah, we can learn a lot from books. Yeah, so hopefully this review was helpful for you, let us know in the comments. And if we missed any, if you have any favorite family books that we missed that weren't on this list, absolutely add those in the comments. We're always on the hunt for new books, new book series. But we did promise you 25. So in order to round out the list, here are our other top picks. And again, none of these are in any particular order. But we've also read the Little House on the Prairie books. We've done those as read-alouds, and you've read them on your own as well. All of a Kind Family, is that a book series as well? Yep.
There's I think that there's 7 in it. We have 6 of them. We didn't have the last one, so we don't know how it turns out. But so far, they're a really nice family, kind of like Happy Little Family.
Awesome. Chronicles of Narnia, which one of you had mentioned earlier. Great series. Charlotte's Web. It's a classic. The Prince Warriors. That's the new one that we just got, right?
Yeah,
we only have one of those, but there's 4 of those, I think, too.
Yeah,
So
it's kind of like Green Ember.
yeah, I knew you were kind of excited to get into that one. Family Under the Bridge. Best Family Ever. The Tale of Despero. What's that one all about? Just give me a real quick version of that one.
It's a mouse like Tumtum and Nutmeg, only he goes on goes on adventures like that, but not to help children. So it's kind of like he's like the runt of the family.
Okay.
So he likes to read. So he's running around going on all these adventures. One time he ends up in a cellar and tries to get out.
Little Britches, Caddy Woodlawn, Alone, Yet Not Alone, The Cabin Faced West, the Classic Starts series. So this is classic books, but that have been basically an abridged version for kids. So we have Dr. Dolittle, Little Women, Swiss Family Robinson, Call of the Wild. Can you remember any other that are in that series?
Anne of Green Gables.
Winnie
the Pooh. We have Winnie the Pooh.
Jungle Book. Yeah. So again, abridged classic books that are written on a kid's level.
Peter Pan, 3,000 Leagues Under the Sea, or 2,000 Leagues. I can't remember.
Yeah. Okay. And a series that's called The Ark, The Reed, and The Fire Cloud. Yeah, so again, I really hope that this was helpful for you. If you're interested in buying any of these books, we do have them linked down below if you want to add them to your family library. And once again, if we missed any, even in that list of 25, that you love and love to read, your kids love to read, we would absolutely love to have you add those to the comments, and maybe we will check those out as well. So if this was helpful for you, please subscribe. Please ring the bell to get notifications whenever we add new conversations here. And our whole point in doing this is to share, obviously, what God has done in our life, the revelation that he's given to us in all kinds of different aspects of our life. But we really want to build a community of other families who are just going after the Lord. So just simply subscribing, commenting will allow us to get to know you a little bit better. And we look forward to doing this journey alongside of you. So until next time, thank you, and we'll see you.